The power of patience. In a small, peaceful village, there lived a humble potter named James. Every day, he woke up early, walked to the river to collect clay, and spent hours shaping beautiful pots with his hands. His small hut was filled with neatly arranged pots, each crafted with love and care. Though he had little money, he was honest and hard-working. He believed that patience and effort would one day bring him success. James was married to Jane, a beautiful woman, but she was not happy with their life. She wanted riches, fine clothes, and a grand house like the wealthy families in the village. She often compared James to his rich friend Mark, who owned a big shop and dressed in fine silk. "James, look at Mark," Jane would complain. "He has everything: a nice house, expensive clothes, and a successful business. And you, just mud and pots." James, wiping sweat from his forehead, would smile gently. "Jane, good things take time. Hard work and patience will bring us success one day." But Jane was tired of waiting. She wanted wealth now. Every time she walked through the village, she felt embarrassed when she saw other women wearing beautiful jewelry, while she wore the same old clothes. One day, Mark, who had always admired Jane, approached her. He was rich, charming, and knew Jane's weakness. "Jane, why waste your life with a poor potter?" he said smoothly. "I can give you everything you want: gold, fine clothes, and a life of luxury." Jane hesitated, but deep down, she wanted that life. That evening, after another argument with James, she packed her things. "I can't live like this anymore, James," she said coldly. "You will always be poor. I need a better life." James stood at the door, watching her leave with tears in his eyes. He loved her, but he couldn't stop her. "Goodbye, Jane," he whispered. Heartbroken but determined, James threw himself into his work. He worked harder than ever, making better and better pots. His fingers moved skillfully over the clay, shaping his dreams with each pot he made. One day, a wealthy merchant from the east came to the village. He noticed James's pots at the market and was amazed by their beauty. "Who made these?" the merchant asked, picking up a finely decorated pot. "James, the potter," the villagers said. The merchant immediately sought James out. "These are the finest pots I have ever seen. I want to buy as many as you can make. In fact, I want you to be my main supplier." That moment changed James's life. Through the merchant, he met other rich traders who placed large orders. His business grew rapidly. He hired workers, opened a big pottery shop, and soon became one of the wealthiest men in the village. Within 10 years, James had built a grand mansion, far bigger than Mark's house. He wore fine clothes and was respected by everyone. But even with all his success, he remained humble, never forgetting where he had come from. Meanwhile, Jane's life had taken a bad turn. Mark, the man she had left James for, had squandered his money on gambling and drinking. His business collapsed, and when he had nothing left, he abandoned Jane. Now, she was poor and struggling, the very life she had tried to escape. One day, Jane heard people in the village talking about James. "Did you hear? James is now the richest man in the village. He owns the biggest house and sells his pots all over the land." Jane's heart sank. She had left James because she thought he would never succeed. But now, he had become everything she had ever wanted. That evening, filled with regret, Jane went to James's mansion. She fell to her knees at his doorstep, tears streaming down her face. "James, please forgive me," she cried. "I was foolish. I left you because I was blind to your worth. Please take me back." James looked at her, his heart steady. He had suffered when she left, but time had healed his wounds. During his journey to success, He had met Rachel, a kind woman who had stood by his side and believed in him when no one else did. He was now engaged to her. "I'm sorry, Jane," James said gently. "Patience has brought me love and success. My heart now belongs to Rachel." Jane wept bitterly, but it was too late. She had chosen wealth over love, and now she had lost both. As James walked away, he smiled, knowing that patience had been his greatest strength. Moral of the story: patience and hard work bring true success. Those who stay by your side during tough times deserve to share in your happiness.